Hi guys, and hello from my orchid paradise. So today I wanted to share some tips on how I grow my orchids and how I care for them. What I would also want to say is I'm not a professional, and these are the tips that are based on my own experience on the specific plants that I have, and also on the climate here in Germany and in our house. So hopefully still you will find some of the tips useful, but what you need to take into consideration is your surroundings and a couple of things that I will mention. So let's get started. All of the orchids that I have here, I have bought from a specialist shop. I don't even know if I can really call it a shop, as it's a place like a greenhouse where they grow only orchids and they take really good care of them. So when you buy them, they're actually in really good condition, and that also helps you to continue to take care of them. Previously, I've bought all of the orchids from just grocery stores or whatever, different kind of stores, and there what can happen is that the condition of the orchids can be really bad already, so it's going to be quite hard for you to try and recover the plant and then also have it as a really healthy plant in the future, so having flowers over and over again. So what I would suggest is when you are buying the plant, try to buy it at least from flower stores or a specialty shop where they only sell flowers, so then you have chance that they take good care of the orchids in the shop. So don't buy the really cheap ones in grocery store, because well, you can get lucky and have a really good plant, but then also it can just put you off because you buy the plant and you are excited on growing your own orchid, and then it just blooms once and that's it. So that's my experience at least, and that happened so many times before I discovered the shop, and now we are a really happy family with all these beautiful orchids. So all of these are bought from the same shop, like I told you, or the greenhouse. This one here, the purple one, and the one right by it, the white one, these are about 3 years old, and as you can see, they're still blooming. They're not in full bloom because this one, it actually bloomed the most of the flowers already earlier in the summer, but it still has some flowers here, and also it will have some more flowers soon, as you can see here. So it has some buds, and there will be some more flowers coming. And the white one, actually this is, I think, the most that it has had of the flowers this summer, and I think that's because it's growing a new orchid on itself, which is called, I think, keiki. I don't know if the pronunciation is correct, but it's growing a baby plant on itself, so it needs quite a bit of strength for that, and that's why I think it's not having that many flowers, but still it's in bloom, and it will also have some more flowers, like you can see there, and then here as well. And before I move forward, the two plants that I showed, I have repotted these ones, and when I will be repotting the next plants, if there will be enough interest in this video, I will also film that and show how you can do that. So this one, I think this is one of the most beautiful ones. I really love the flowers and the pattern on the flowers, and it's in full bloom right now. It has really beautiful flowers. So this one, and then the purple one right here, which is a little bit smaller. Both of these I've had for about 1.5 years, 2 years now, and yeah, they're blooming, and they've bloomed almost constantly. So once they have these blooms, sometimes they get buds straight away, and then they're in bloom again. So actually it's pretty difficult for me right now because I need to repot this one and this one, but I can't repot them because you shouldn't do that while they're still blooming. So I'm waiting for the time when there will be no flowers on them so I can repot them. And then I have 3 new members in the family. This yellow one, I've just recently bought it, just about a month ago, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it or I'm gonna give it away to someone. And then I also bought 2 surprise plants, which were really cheap because they didn't have any blooms on them, so they were cut, and they were just with the greens, so they were really cheap. Actually, I thought it was really kind of exciting to buy a couple of those because I have no idea what color they will be and what kind of blooms they will have. So fingers crossed that they will grow some blooms, so we can see what kind of flowers they have. And I want to tell you a little bit about the environment that the orchids need. So it needs to be quite humid in the apartment or wherever you are holding them, and it needs to be really light. So I have my orchids on the window shell so that they get the most of the light, but you could also basically, I could also have them here on the table because there's straight light from the window here as well. Ooh, itchy nose. But anywhere where there is direct light through most of the day. So as much direct light as possible. That's very important. I think that's one of the most important things because I've noticed even with the difference of the 2 rooms that we have, one room has really bright sunlight. So here in the kitchen it's really bright in the mornings, and then in the bedroom it's bright in the afternoon. And I noticed that when I transferred, well, in the winter time I transferred the plants here, they were actually, I think, growing faster and developing the buds and the flowers faster because I guess there was more sunlight here. So you can experiment and sort of move them around your house and see what's the best spot. But what is very important is during the summers, for example, here it can get really hot, like 30 and up degrees, and if you're having the plants on your window sill on the window it can harm the plants, so you have to watch the weather. So for example, you can see on some of my plants the leaves are yellow because on a couple of days when it was really hot I didn't realize I should move the plants away from the window, and that damaged the leaves. So it's important to have enough sunlight, but when it gets really hot you have to be careful because through the window the light can be too much and it can be too hot and it can damage the plants. So move them around if it gets too hot. Then also you have to watch the humidity. For example, my sister, she lives in Finland and their house is really dry. So the problem there is that the plant is not having enough humidity around it. I actually don't know what you should do in that case. You could try to have a humidifier near the plant. You can try again, move the plant around the house and see where is the most humid spot in your house. You can try spraying the plant daily, maybe even a couple of times a day with this spray bottle. So you can try different kind of things to keep the humidity level optimal for the plant. So humidity and sunlight, I would say those two are the most important things for growing the orchid. And how do you know when to water the orchid? It's very easy because the plant tells it to you. So I'm gonna show you a couple of examples. So for example, this one, if you look at the roots on this one, they are actually quite green. So the ones in the pot, not outside the pot. So this one doesn't necessarily need to be watered yet. But because I'm watering the rest of them and some of the roots are already looking palish, I'm gonna water this one as well. And if you look at the roots on this one, you can see that the roots inside the pot are the same color that the roots outside the pot. So they're really this silvery pale color, which means the plant needs to be watered. So that's what we are gonna do, and that's what I'm gonna show you how to do.